There is one last thing I do want to talk about when it comes to Frontline 2, and that's essentially going to be the re-rolling aspect of the game, right? Because we've talked about the characters, we've talked about the chilies, we've talked about how they look, about all of this but essentially I do want to talk about the reroll guide. What I do want to say about this is, like, first and foremost, you absolutely don't need to reroll. A lot of the permanent characters, you're gonna end up getting them eventually, right? You could reroll if you really want the unbanner character, like if you really want to make sure that you get Suomi. Now, the game does have a guest account, which makes it not too much of a pain to reroll, because you can just, you know, log in as a guest account, discard it, get another guest account, right? You don't need to have an email account as far as I know. And once you get an account that you like, you are going to be able to link it to your email and whatnot, right? So it's not too bad. Now, in terms of what you gotta do, there's a few things you gotta do. There's the Hell Path, as they call it here. Big props to Pride1, by the way, for this. There's the Hell Path and there's the Heaven Path. Essentially, the Hell Path, you have to play through the entire tutorial to unlock summoning feature. Then you do 4 pulls on the rate of banner and prey. Maybe if we get additional codes, we can get more pulls than just 4. If you get the rate up, you're good. After that, you can go and try to get another SSR from the standard banner. Not the beginner banner, the standard one, because that way, if you get an SSR from the standard banner, then you're very, very happy, and then you'll get another SSR from the beginner banner. So this is like the top tier hell reroll, is that you try to get Suomi. Essentially, you try to get Suomi, then you try to get a SSR character from the standard banner. That way, you get a third SSR from the beginner banner once you actually play the game, right? So that gives you 3 SSR. Now, this is obviously a big pain, because that means you need to get 1 rate up. You need to get 1 rate up character from 4 pools, and then you need to get 1 SSR from 20 standard pool, potentially. Potentially more if we get more code and stuff like that, which is a big pain. Obviously, you can decide to drop some aspect of it. Maybe if you get a rate up character with 4 pools only, you can stop there and call it a day. If you just want to get Suomi, obviously, make the rest of the process you can just ignore. Or you can ignore the rates up and only do the standard banner, right? So here it's like, do the tutorial, unlock the thing, pull on standard banner, try to get the SSR character of your choice within 20 pulls you have, and then you move on. So those are the 2 paths, right? So technically, there's kind of an in-between. The Hell Path is absolutely everything, right? It's 3 SSR as a result. Now, you can make this a bit less worse by just accepting to get Suomi, or if you don't want to like go through an annoying process of only having 4 pulls every time you reroll, you just do the quote-unquote Heaven Path. You pull on the standard banner, you try to get an SSR that you like from the permanent characters, and then you start from there. You can start pulling on the beginner banner, right? So that's how you go about it. Now, that's said, the process overall can take between, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes. You gotta do the tutorial, you gotta reach like, I think 1-2 or something in the main campaign, essentially. And then you try to do all the pulls, and then you reset. Now, do you absolutely need to? No, not really, because we're gonna get a free Vepli, and then we get a free SSR at 50 pulls on the beginner banner, which is technically only 40 currency. Then we are going to be getting over time, every time you lose a 50-50, you're going to get a permanent character. At 260 pool on the permanent banner, you get a character choice and stuff like that. And the game is relatively generous enough that you don't have to go through the hassle. Now, if we want to, let's say you really want to go through the hassle, here you can see the SSR character. Now, do know that Vepli specifically is a character on the permanent banner, but Vepli is not going to be available on the beginner banner. The reason why is that you can get her as a free reward, okay? So those characters are the standard characters. So which character do you want to go for once the game is live when you reroll? I think the best options in general is probably going to be Kongshu. She's an excellent single target damage dealer. She deals physical and burn, and she's gonna be very, very good. She's a high mobility character, and she's still good in the end game. So she is gonna be absolutely amazing, okay? She's gonna be great right now. She's gonna be great in the future. She might be a bit hard to play, but you're gonna get used to it eventually. She's a top pick for this. Now, we also have the best other pick that people... I feel like there's two... Some people really like Kyongchu, some people really like Tololo. Now, the thing with Tololo is she's very good, but in, like, you know, once we catch up with CN in terms of patch and new content, she's gonna drop off a little bit. Now, the really big reason you might want to go for her, she's really easy to play, okay? She's gonna make progressing through the early, mid-game very, very easily. She's very versatile, but eventually she's gonna start, you know, losing a little bit in terms of abilities compared to, you know, limited characters gonna be coming out in the future, right? But she's a fantastic choice, especially early on. So generally speaking, those are the two characters you want to go for. So here we have some pros and cons. And if we look at the cons, Ninden Eye the Hydra to continue to stack a permanent critical rate, critical blah 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 blah. And she's evenly limited, but with the fact that only Sabrina and Kofni are available. Deals Hydro elements which get replaced by electric and freeze phase weaknesses later in the stages. Her damage lags behind other DPS in the current CN meta. But she has a lot of pros. She's a low-cost operator that has 2 cooldown skills and 1 ultimate skill of 4 Confectors index cost, so ultimate doesn't cost that much. All of her skill can be used at the start of the battle. Her base skills have good damage and get better when she has buff. Her passive has an innate critical rate and critical damage permanent boost. Her neural helix keys help enhance and make her better throughout early, mid, and late stages. She isn't a dupe line character, with just having 1 dupe being enough to make her strong. There we go. Now, by comparison, Kyungshu that I was talking about earlier, she's a top tier single target damage output. She's still meta even now in CN because of that. Provides a steady amount of DPS through action support. Her action support is low cooldown, allowing her to continuously provide indirect DPS unlike other T-Dolls action support. Now, she's not big and friendly. She's hard to play and hard to understand. You need to actually get into the game and start understanding the mechanics properly to really put her to good use. She requires to be level 30 plus to become strong, because that's when you're going to unlock her stronger neural helix keys, right? So she's not going to be plug and play right away. It's going to take a little bit of time before she actually starts putting in the work. She's heavily reliant on dupe because her best potential is locked behind the fortification segment. So essentially, you are going to want some dupe. Now, over time, you're probably going to get some dupe for her, but right away, she's going to be strong. She's not going to be bad without dupe, okay? Do keep that in mind. But right away, Tololo without dupe might be better than Kyungju without dupe, especially because Tololo, she does not need dupe at all, and she's easy to play, and she's strong right away. So from level 1 to level 30, she's going to be very good. Then Kyungju starts being strong in terms of damage, but she has some of her core mechanics and very strong aspects to her behind duplicates, right? So very, very good. They're both DPS. If you get any of the two, honestly, you're good to go. You don't need to keep rerolling, in my opinion, right? Now, in terms of the other characters, Sabrina is a good tank. She's good right away. She's gonna be still decent in the future. She's not like top tier, but she's pretty good. So if you get her and you don't want to go through the hassle, you can definitely stop there. Mostly Negan. I think the problem with Negan is that she's been outclassed over time. So right now she's gonna be pretty decent as DPS, but you will see her full of the meta over time. And if you intend to play long term, you might feel like she's not gonna be good enough for you. Okay. Now we have Peritia. Peritia is kind of a interesting spot. Okay, she does have some AOE. Which can be good, but less efficient against bosses. And the other thing that she has is that right now, she's a coercion damage character, right? And the problem is that we don't have strong coercion characters as of now. So right now, her value is lower than she's gonna be in the future. Because in the future, we're gonna get characters like Cloquet and Mexi who are gonna be very, very strong and gonna make her way better. So if you love the cat girl and you get her, you might be slightly underwhelmed for now, but eventually, if you invest into making a strong team around her in the future and you love Cloquet and Mexi's design, definitely go for her. She is not gonna make you upset whatsoever. Now, you could also think, yeah, she's a permanent character, I can always get her later, so it's not really worth rerolling for her. I would agree that, unless you really, really like her design, okay? Now, moving on, we have Vepli. So, the problem with Vepli, she has a good enough, you know, she can be good enough. The only problem is that she kind of gets power creep by a less rare unit that's going to be available right away, and that is Lota. So Lota is a character that's going to be available upon release because she comes out with the events, which is the what's it called? It's the glass beach event or whatever it's called. I don't remember. I'm so sorry. Essentially the summer event. But the summer event, we're getting it on release tomorrow. And the thing is that she is good enough for a free unit, and she can easily replace Vepli. So there's literally no reason to really pull for her when we have like kind of a better version coming up, or like she needs less investment to make her very good. So here I'm gonna read this literally. For reroll global Vepli is not recommended due to her low range and lack of viability outside of boss fight mode. To make things worse, you get quote-unquote power creep by welfare character available in the first patch in global, Lota. And she can be obtained for free from the beginner mission event. So if you're rerolling and you get her, keep rerolling, keep going, don't get her. She's not necessary. Please don't. There we go, the end. So that's for the permanent characters. Essentially, get either Tololo, Kyungju. If you really like them, you can get Sabrina, Mozin, or Peritia if you're aiming for the future. Vepli, ignore her. And then, if you really want to pull for the rate-up characters, get Suomi because she's absolutely OP. Ulrich, unfortunately, she still hasn't found a good place in CN, so she's gonna suffer most likely. She has too many issues to really shine. She needs so many duplicates because, like, essentially the problem is that she has a lot of issues in her kit and she needs duplicates to fix those issues. So that's not good, right? Especially for a reroll character. So there you go. If you do want to go through the trouble of rerolling, do that. You can use, you can use an emulator if you need to have multiple instances running at the same time. Don't forget to use the guest account. Roll, reroll, reroll until you're happy. So yeah, go for it. I wish you great luck. You're gonna need it. I'm probably not gonna reroll, so I'm gonna cry if I get a character I don't want. It is what it is. And you can definitely catch me live tomorrow when the game releases, as you can see me going through the main story and going through my pools, all the good. So yeah, see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. Let me know who you're gonna be rerolling for, if you're gonna reroll, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.